Hello, hello. How are you guys doing? Good?
Good.
Yay. You sound tired, Kenzie. Are you tired?
No, actually.
Okay, update me. What's going on
Yesterday.
in your life, Kenzie?
So I went to El Paso because my dad lives there. And I left yesterday, El Paso at 4 a.m. Arizona time, and literally walked in the door 10 minutes before class started yesterday. So it was a hot mess. But it was all good. It was fun.
Yay.
It was worth it.
Nice.
So I just caught up on my sleep last night.
Good, good.
Yeah.
It
I'm
was kind
tired
of
of
nice.
sitting in this chair all week. Carrie, what were you going to say? Sorry.
I was gonna say it was kind of nice having like the 3 assignments last night instead of like the 7. So I actually got to go to bed at like 11:30 instead of like 2 in the morning.
So maybe I should just do that to you every week. Pretend there's like 6 or 7 due and then change it. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that to you. But yes, maybe it felt better because you were expecting so many. If I'd only given you the 3, you might have been like, oh, it was still 3 and I was still up till almost midnight. Oh, does everybody have their multiplication and division story problem sort, right? The one you did last night? Make sure you have access to that because you're going to need that, okay? And then I sent you 2 files too that you should have access to. I can't remember, they weren't named in your thing, but one was a booklet and then one was just a little 2-page strategy. All right, so let's get started so we can for sure end on time, right? We definitely don't want to go over. And maybe if we ended early, we might have a heart attack. I could actually answer questions. I know, it's scary. It's frightening to even think that. Okay, so hopefully you have your multiplication and division story problem sort with you handy because you're going to need it for our first activity. And then you have those other two docs as well. So, and some of you might have been thoroughly discouraged when you got your grade back for the first discussion board. If that is you, so was I, right? I was not happy either. So I gave you a rubric for a reason, and some of you did not even read the rubric, right? So your comments are super sweet to each other, like, great job, I love your handwriting, that looks swell. That's not math, right? So your responses have to be mathematical and specific. During your discussion boards, we are practicing MP3, construct viable arguments. That's what you do in your initial post, and then critique the reasoning of others. Now, you might have the same reasoning as someone else, and you can address that, but you can't just say, I did it the same way. That's not mathematical reasoning. Discuss what you did mathematically the same, or give constructive feedback on what somebody could improve on. And I know some of you were really struggling with that, and that's why I sent you that message yesterday before you posted your Big Pig Barn initial post, so you could correct some of those errors. And definitely think about that when you're doing your response posts. Also, some of you forgot to respond, and I think the reason you forgot to respond was it falls off your to-do list, right? Because it's due, say, on Wednesday, and then you already submitted, so it goes away. So I'm seeing what I can do on my end. Maybe I can send you a reminder to do your response post before Sunday, or I can, now that I can see when everybody's submitted, I can open it up and change the due date to the 7th, not the 7th, but you know what I mean. The last one was the 7th. So then it'll appear back on your to-do list. Okay, so I'll try that and we'll see which way works better. You know, if you prefer the reminder or if you prefer just the due date, you know, would change, or maybe we just need to do both of those, right? Hit it both ways so we make sure we get that done, because those response posts were worth 6 points. So if you lost out on those 6 points, that was a lot. That was a killer to your grade, right? So, but you can recover. We do enough discussion boards that you're fine. The biggest thing I want to tell you about discussion boards is non-starters are not okay, right? I gave you a problem-solving rubric. Non-starters are people who come to office hours or tutoring who go, I just don't get it. I don't know how to do it. That's why you have the 4 steps. Step 1, everybody can do givens goals, right? Everybody can do givens and goals. You know what the question is telling you and you know what you're trying to find, right? So you should never come empty-handed. We had a party in my office hours last night, didn't we, ladies? Some of you are here. There was like 6 of us, I think, just from this class. So it was super fun. We talked about Big Pig Barn. We talked about the oral midterm. We talked about the subtraction strategies assignment. We talked about the home subtraction strategies assignment. You know, we talked about a lot of things. So office hours at night was very worth it. If you guys think office hours in the evening are better, let's pick another day, right? To do one. My husband would be thrilled. My kids would be thrilled. But whatever works, you know, if I'm getting people in my office hours, that's awesome. The other thing we talked about is maybe you guys scheduling like a weekly open meeting that whether you do Google Meets or Zoom or whatever, because you guys can host a meeting. And then you guys could just drop in and discuss homework questions, right? Kind of just a support group for you. So the only reason I suggested Google Meets is because it's really easy to start. Anybody can start them. If you do a Zoom, then the only way you can enter the meeting is if you're the host, or if, you know, you have to change your settings so guests can enter before you get there. So anyway, think about that if you guys are interested. I think that would be awesome. Okay, so any questions before we get started? I just gave you a lot of info. Everybody okay? Now you're just stumped. You don't even know what to say, right? It's like shocking.
I have a question about the questions on the oral exam.
Yeah.
The third one, it says about the order of operations. Is that a negative 18?
I don't have it in front of me. Let me look. Sorry, I don't have it super handy. And now I can't type. So it's a lot of trouble. I'm just pulling it up now. Number 3. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right. Any other questions? You okay? By the way, if anybody is super discouraged, you can all still pass. I promise you. If you couldn't pass, I would already be talking to you, like one-on-one, right? So nobody is hopeless. I promise. I promise. Okay. So this is what we're going to do today. It looks like a lot. You can read it later if you want. Let's talk Thunderbird Thursday. So the RISE app is an iOS app that was made by MCC students, faculty, and staff. And it is, let me see if I have a link to it right here because I've had it open all day. I couldn't find it in the App Store. No, of course I closed it. But the RISE app, it's a great app, and it's talking about community resources available to students. So, and it's food, shelter, medical, everything. So that's a great one. And then the Center for Civic and Community Engagement, probably a lot of you are familiar with this. The reason I picked the Center for Community Engagement is because a lot of you are doing service learning, yes? And so if you have service learning, it's looking a little different this semester, but they still have a lot of different opportunities for you to volunteer with organizations. So please, you know, check those out. So try this one real quick, just on scratch paper or wherever. Use a non-traditional strategy to solve this problem. So record it. So you're going to try not to look them up, right? Try to just solve it somehow. 413 minus 285, and even try to put a name to it, okay, if you can. All right, when you're done, type in the chat, let's see, your favorite animal. That's what I'm into right now. All right, are you guys done? Nice, now we're getting some animals. Yay, we have a couple people who like elephants. Awesome. So I'm gonna put up a whiteboard. And you guys should all be able to write on it. One person volunteer and tell me what you did. And if you need me to record because you don't have a touch screen, I can do that, right?
If you could record mine, I can tell you.
Oh gosh, hold on. I just stopped my own broadcast. Sorry. I'm losing my mind right here. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. So, okay. Yes, of course I can record for you. Is that Brittany? Go for it, Brittany.
Yes.
I'm ready.
I did count up from 285.
Okay.
So I went to 300. So I added 15. And then I went to 400, so I added another 100. And then I just jumped up the last 13.
And so what was your solution?
Oh, sorry. 128, sorry.
128, very nice. So you had 413 minus 255, and your answer was 128. And here's our answer right here. And I see that Mackenzie said she did it that way. A lot of people did it that same way, right? I can't remember.
I think a lot of people subtract that way without realizing it.
I think you're probably right. Yeah, I think you're right. By the way, is my big Zoom thing right in the middle of my screen now? Annoying. Okay. All right. So yeah, a lot of people did it that way. That's awesome. Okay. So did anyone do it differently? Anyone do it differently?
I did the constant difference.
Ooh, Juan said constant difference. Let's try that. So do you want to write or do you want me to write for you?
I can write. So
okay.
Open it. So it's 4, 4, 1, 3, and 2, 8, 5. So I want to make 285 to be a more friendly number, so I just add 50 to make it 300. And in this case, I have to add 15 for 413. It should be 428. So in this case, oops, this is a subtraction symbol.
You're fine.
And then
yeah.
Easier for 4 minus 1 is 100, 2 minus 2 is 20, and 8 minus 8, like that.
Very nice. So I'm just going to label that one for you, constant difference. Yeah, that's a great way too. Do you wish you learned all these ways when you were young? Because most of us did not, right? We just learned traditionally. You learned this. You learned 413 minus 285, and you learned something like this. Oh, I can't take 5 away from 3, so I'm going to cross out this 1 and make it a 0. And then that makes this magically a 13, right? And then I'm going to subtract. And then, oh, I can't take an 8 away from a 0, so I'm going to regroup again, except for we said borrow. We're going to make that a 3. Now this is a 10. 10 minus 8 is 2, and then 1. So do you see how this can be very confusing for students? Yeah, it can be very troubling. So good. Did anyone else do it a different way? No? All right. Well, I love all of those ways so far. Once you start practicing them, you'll get into a habit of really trying out these different ones. So keep trying them. Okay. So you did your classifying as multiplication and division, yes? That's where you did your sorting problem. Mine looks like this. Let me find mine. Maybe. Boy, my notebook is getting full. Is your notebook getting full? I mean, electronically it's not full yet, but where is my sorting paper? There it is. Stuck together. This is what mine looks like. Is that what yours kind of looks like? Yeah? So the ones I had for multiplication, Did you have A, B? I'll try to go in order. A, B, E, F, and then J, I? Are those the ones you had on the multiplication side? Did you have letters on them, I hope? Yeah.
Did you say like B as in bear or D as in dog?
B. I'll type them in the chat for you. So I had A, B, E, F, J. No, wait, H. I'm trying to go in order. H, I, J. That's what I had for, that shouldn't be an L. That's just A, B, E, F, H, I, J. Is that what you guys had on your multiplication side? And so on your division side, you had C, D, G, K, L, M, N. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh my gosh. I should probably look when I'm typing. Oh, that was funny. So the division ones were C, D, G, K, L, M, N. Yes? You feel better about that? Everybody okay?
Yeah, I just got B and D mixed up. So I had D in
Okay,
the
so
multiplication and B in the division.
So let's look at that. Where it says on B, it says there's 25 cars in the parking lot. Each car has 4 tires. How many tires are there all together? So we would be multiplying 25 times 4, right? To get that. And then on D, I am 3 times as tall as baby Pedro. I am 75 inches tall. How tall is Pedro? So if you're that many times as tall, that's actually a division problem, right? Because that's how you're going to solve it. Tricky? Any other questions on those? Are you stuck on any of those? Okay, so now you have a handout. I can't even remember which one it is, but it looks like it has a description of equal groups, rates, multiplicative comparisons. Do you see that one? You have that handout somewhere? I hope. All right, so equal groups, it has a little description. These problems have sets or groups of objects. So if there's 3 bags with 5 peaches in a bag, right? So you could solve those with repeated addition. So that's a type of problem. Then there's rate problems. Rate problems are ones where they give you miles per hour, cost per peach, something like that, where it's comparing the quantities using different units, okay? Sometimes rate problems can be considered equal groups problems, but they're easy to identify as rates because they have those different units. Multiplicative comparison. That's when you have a factor that's a multiple of the other. So if you drive, for example, if John drives 4 times as far as Sally to get to work, right? So that's the type of multiplicative comparison. Then you have area problems. Those are pretty self-explanatory, right? So you have a rectangular region and you're talking about the area of that. So if it's a rectangle 2 feet by 4 feet, then the area is 8 square feet. And then you have combinations. So where you try to find the possible number of combinations. This is kind of like what you guys were doing with your license plate problem on team solving problems, right? Okay, so what I want you to do.
Sorry, I have a real quick question.
Yeah.
Can it fall into more than one? Like, because rates is normally like the label on it, like the miles per hour and stuff. But if you said like, instead of saying John drives 4 times as far, if you said John drives 4 times as many miles, does it then fall into both of them, or is it still a comparison?
It's still a comparison.
Okay.
Yep, good question. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to go back to these worksheet problems, the ones you have on this sorting, and you're going to identify what type of problem it is, And then after you do that, write the number sentence that fits the problem. So for example, if I did the multiplication problem for Joanne's Bakery, when I read that, Joanne's Bakery has muffin tins that hold 6 muffins each. The bakery can put 15 tins in the oven at the same time. How many muffins can be baked at one time at Joanne's Bakery? What type of problem would you say that is?
Multiplication.
Equal groups.
It is multiplication and it is equal groups, so you're both correct, yes. So we already classified it as multiplication or division. Now we're classifying it as what type of problem. So it's equal groups. And then underneath, can anyone tell me the number sentence that would be?
It would be 6 times 15.
Equals?
90.
90.
Nice.
Sorry,
Now,
I keep
is it,
remuting.
no, you're good. Is it 6 times 15 or is it 15 times 6 or does it matter?
It doesn't matter in multiplication. You can flip the numbers around. In division, it matters.
I agree with you. So there's a commutative property for multiplication, but not a commutative property for division. But does it show us the same picture if it's 6 times 15 or 15 times 6? So we're going to talk more
Okay.
about that in just a minute. Go ahead. Who is talking? Go ahead.
It will like be copies of, so you'll want to like have pictures of it to like as a visual, you would want it to be in a certain order, right?
Yes, absolutely. So Kenzie, what do you think? Do you think it's 6 times 15 or 15 times 6 to meet this picture?
I honestly don't even see the problem. Is it on the like the handout? Because I don't.
It was the sort you did last night for homework.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. And by the way, I figured out how to put the week 3 in the OneNote now. Did you see it now, Brittany? Okay, it's the weirdest thing. So if I'm on the online app, I can't drag it. But if I'm on like my desktop app, I can drag it.
Where it makes no kind of sense.
Thank you. And I couldn't figure it out. I'm like dragging it and it's not working. So then I switched to the other one. Totally worked. So that's really easy to grab those and see those then. Good. Okay, so Mackenzie, did you find it?
So it's A, right? Joanne's Bakery.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so I think, I don't know if I'm right, but I would say that it's 6 copies of 15, so it'd be 6 times 15? Or am I doing it backwards?
I
You
want
doing
you
it
guys to
backwards?
talk about that in your breakout rooms, okay? So talk about it in your breakout rooms and we'll come back in a minute. I'm just gonna put you in random ones today. You can say hi to new friends, right? Okay, so I'm gonna create your breakout rooms. So you're gonna do this for all of them, okay? And you can work kind of silently in the breakout room if you want and then just compare your answers. Or you can be all chatting it up. I don't care, it doesn't matter to me. Sorry, it just takes me another minute. Okay, go ahead, work in your rooms. I'll give you about 5 minutes. Hi, guys. Some of you are back. How'd you do? Were you done? I hope so.
Were we only supposed to do the multiplication problems?
No, you're supposed to do all of them.
Okay.
So I take it you're not done.
Not yet.
Okay, were you just starting the division ones?
Yeah, I just finished the multiplication ones.
Okay. How about your team?
I'm not sure. I think it's the same.
All right, so did you guys finish or not finish? Abigail said she did not finish.
Were we supposed to do the multiplication and the division?
Apparently you were just supposed to do the multiplication one.
Okay, I'm like, I did the
because that's what
multiplication.
Abigail asked too, but I did them all, but
Okay, well, that was not enough time for me to do them all. That's
okay,
right.
perfect. Well, let's do the multiplication ones, and then I'll let you finish the division ones. So
we only got up into putting the names, but we didn't get to the number sentence or the writing the equation.
Okay, Gabriella, did you do the names on all of them, multiplication and division?
Yeah.
Okay, well, why don't I just put you back in your rooms and you can finish?
Okay.
How's that sound? Okay, so finish. Go ahead and do that. 5 more minutes. How's that?
We lost your tongue.
Okay, I think we need to have a little de-stress session. I feel the stress in this room, and I'm not even in the same room as you, right? Weird, weird. So we're gonna do a fun little type in the chat in just a second. Too bad you can't like anonymously type in the chat. That would be kind of fun, right? I would totally do that in meetings if people didn't know that I was typing things, because I type obnoxious things all the time, but they know it's me. All right. So thank goodness we have Mindfulness Monday coming up, right? Because the stress level in this class is through the roof, right? And we're not even in a room. So I get it. You guys are stressed out. I feel it, right? I feel it from you, okay? So I think that there's a big mistake that people make when they sign up for this class. They think, oh, boom, I'm not really good at math anyway, or I just want to get these classes done in one semester, or this is just going to be like my education classes. That's not true, right? It's a math class, and it's a weird, hard math class, right? So make sure on every single assignment that you do, you look at what you're supposed to do on the assignment, but definitely look at how you're going to be graded and then how you need to submit. Those are really important, and the directions need to be really clear. So if you feel like some directions are unclear, please ask, because I spend a lot of time writing those assignments very specifically, so you know, right? I don't want it to be confusing for you or more stressful. The work is hard enough. Okay, so right now, I'm not even going to look at your names. I'm just going to look at the numbers. Tell me on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being like, I'm so chill, I could take a nap right now, and 10 being, I'm so stressed out, I'm going to have a panic attack in just a second. Give me a number for you in the chat, okay? So 1 is, I'm fine. 10 is, oh my goodness. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. I love when we do 11 out of 10. I appreciate that. Oh, I'm going to hang out with Sydney and Brittany and Shitong, who are chill right there at 2 or 3. 4 is even looking pretty good, right? So if you're way up high, notice you have other students in your class that are less stressed. So maybe you need to make some more connections, right? And widen your circle, okay? So widen your circle into who you're asking for help. Post on that discussion board. You know, ask for help when you're stuck. It's important. So those of you that are above a 6, I would say you need to change something. Come see me. Add in an hour of office hours with me, right? Make a separate appointment with me, because we need to bring that level down to a more reasonable level. I don't want you having a panic attack. That's not this class. This class, it should be hard, right? You should have to do a lot of work, but you should also feel like you're making progress, productive struggle. We're moving forward, yeah? And some of you are just thankful we're out of the candy factory, right? I know that, see? It could be worse. We could be back in the candy factory. I will not torture you, but you know we can add, subtract, multiply, and divide in different bases too, right? It's so fun. We'll do that after the midterm when you're not so stressed, okay? So you got through those problems. How many of you, honestly, how many of you are previewing the slides before you come to class? Brittany, anyone else? Emily. Oh, Jadalyn, Tintu. Excellent. Previewing the slides really helps, right? Because you kind of know what's coming up and you know where you're kind of stuck. So make sure you start doing that. It doesn't take too long, right? Okay, so these questions, are there any of them that you're stuck on? Because I can read them all, but I just want to make sure if there's any of them we're stuck on.
So is C rates?
is C rates. Let me look at C.
Okay.
12, yep, I put rate, $12 divided by $2 a pound equals 6 pounds.
Equals, okay,
Yep,
making sure.
yep,
I had a question.
I'm ready.
So C would be rates, but is it all, when you're talking about money, is it always rate?
Um,
I think it
I'm
says,
trying to think of a time. No, because like if I say I make 5 times as much as someone else makes, and I make $3 an hour, then that could be a comparison, right?
Right, so J is a
Okay.
comparison, not a rate, right?
J, let me find J. Yeah, I put comparison. Yep.
Okay, I was gonna ask about that one too. I just wanted to make
Yep.
sure.
Anyone else? Emily, what's wrong with one?
I don't know. It's just still not working. Like, I know you said you like published it, but I still go to week 3 and I don't see anything.
Okay, it's really weird. Like refresh it. OneNote is a little squirrely, I've noticed too. Are you doing it on an app? And do you have a Mac?
Yeah, I'm
Are you on
doing
an
it
iPad?
on the one. Yeah.
Yeah, so refresh it. It's really weird, but my iPad gets locked up sometimes too and thinks it's not there, and then it really is there. So
Okay,
try that,
I'll
and then we
try.
can troubleshoot that too.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna skip the rest of these, and then I'll just post mine so you can compare yours and see how we do. If you look on the next page of your little multiplication and division situations, it tells you parts of a multiplication sentence. Remember how we did parts of a addition sentence, parts of a subtraction sentence? Now we're parts of a multiplication and then a division sentence. So factor, factor, product, what's nice about that is I think that you guys can tell that just like we talked about with add in, sum, we must be able to change the order of those factors and we still get the same result. Now, Brittany and I were talking about, does it matter which one goes first? And we're going to talk about that in just a minute, because for the story, it does matter which comes first. But for the result, it doesn't matter which one comes first. So it depends on what you're asking the students. And if you're teaching very low elementary school, like 2nd grade, when they really start talking about multiplication, if you keep a consistent model, the conceptual understanding of multiplication will be much deeper. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. So for a division sentence, 12 divided by 3 equals 4. So dividend, divisor, quotient. Do you know those words? Do you know how to spell them? I promise you that is on the midterm. I promise you that is on the midterm. Yes? If you miss that because you did not practice it, because you did not practice how to spell it, that is on you. Because I just told you it is on your midterm. Yes? And you need to know which one is which. Dividend, divisor, quotient. And you need to be able to tell which it is no matter how it's written. It could be written as a fraction. It could be written as long division, right? Or it could be written with that division symbol. Then it goes into some conversations about, do we have the dividend first? Like if we have 10 divided by 5, which is the number of groups and which is the amount in each group? But I want to talk to you about this for just a minute. Let me share my screen with you because this is where we're getting into what Brittany was talking about. Which comes first? So the meaning of multiplication. If you're explaining it to someone who doesn't know the multiplication symbol, you need to explain things, right? So the first number is the number of groups or the number of copies. The second number, or the second factor, is how many is in each group. So A is the number of copies or the number of groups. B is how many items are in a group. So 3 times 4 means 3 copies of 4 items. Yes? So if I wrote 4 times 3, that would be 4 copies of 3 items. That's a very different picture than this. So when we start doing multiplication with young kids, we talk about situational, right? So it's story problems. So if we're doing it visually, it doesn't necessarily matter, right? 3 times 5, or 5 times 3. So we're okay. But usually the rows, right, are the number of copies. The columns are hashes in each copy. So 3 times 5 is 3 rows of 5. Okay. We're going to go into strategies for finding math facts, but I swear down here I had how many groups we are. Here we go. So we could talk about it distance. So right here, if you have a problem like this, you're walking at a rate of 5 miles per hour for 3 hours. How many miles have you walked? Well, you did 3 copies, right, of 5 miles. So we would write it 3 times 5. If we wrote 5 times 3, what are we saying? So the picture might not be the same.
That we skipped 5 times. Or yeah, that we skipped 5 times for 3 miles.
Yeah, like what, that doesn't make sense. Do you see? Like it doesn't quite fit. If we still use 5 miles per hour for 3 hours, if we do 5 times 3 instead of 3 times 5, the picture is different. So we're not doing 5 copies of 3. We're doing 3 copies of 5 miles, right? Because here's your first hour, your second hour, your third hour. You have a multiplication foldable. I don't even know when it's due, but it's up there, right? So some people are worried, you just take a regular piece of paper. You can do notebook paper to make your 4-door foldable. There's a video that explains that. I wanted to do more examples. I must have it in my other slide. Sorry, I hope you're not getting dizzy. I wanted to show you something else, but I don't see it. Let me see if I can just put up a whiteboard and write on it for a minute, because I want to address what Brittany was talking about. Okay. So let's look at that very first one where we have 15 tins and we have 6 cupcakes per tin, right? And we said that was equal groups. So somebody said it was 15 times 6 equals 90, and someone else said it was 6 times 15 equals 90. Which one do you think is correct?
6 times 15.
You think it's 6 times 15?
Yeah, because it's
So
6,
what is the 6?
the number of groups.
So I think it's 15 times 6 because on the slide it said the first one was numbers of copies or numbers of groups, and you'd have 15 tins. So I feel like that would be your group because the 6 would be in each group.
Okay, so let's talk about that. If the first one is the number of copies and the second is the size of the copy or the number of groups and the size of the groups, would it be 15 times 6 or 6 times 15? Let's think about your picture. If I was trying to draw this one, I would draw 15, right, of these, and there would be 6 in each one. Make sense? 15 copies of 6 tins. What would this picture look like?
6 boxes with 15 in them.
6 boxes, so we'd only have 6 boxes, and there would be 15 in each box. Do we have tins that hold 15 muffins? Or do we have tins that hold 6 muffins? So do you see how this one is the actual picture that we want? So order really does matter. Even though I get the same result, if you're not careful and use a model where the first number is the copy or group size and the second number is the size of the copy, you will start confusing your students a lot. Okay? All right, let's get to some fun stuff now. You're like, wait, that wasn't fun? Yeah, I know, that wasn't fun. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about how we do some problems. Look, oh, you can't see anything. I thought I was sharing my screen and I'm not. Okay, so let's look at this. Just like we decomposed addition and subtraction, we can partition or decompose multiplication. So look how students did this problem. This problem was 6 times 8, okay? And they did it rectangularly, okay? So in this first one, Arya split up 6 into 1 plus 5, and then the 8 she left alone. So right here, this 40 is the product of 8 times 5. That's how she got the 40. And this 8 is from 1 times 8. And why Arya did that? Maybe she knows her 5s tables and her 1s tables really well, right? Now, Ben did it differently. Ben must have thought, oh, I know my 4s. Oops, I'm not going to put a multiplication symbol there. So 4 and 4 is 8, and then times 6. So he just did 4 times 6 twice. They both get the same answer of 48. Do you see how they did it? So let's see. Do you see how it says write an equation to show their thinking? Can you write an equation to show Arya's thinking? I'm ready.
Could you say for Arya, she did 5 times 8 equals 40, and then underneath, let's say, or like next to it, say 40 plus 8 equals 48.
All right, but can we write one long equation that would do the whole thing for us?
Would it be 5 times 8 plus 8 times 1 equals 48?
Oh, nice. So let's look at that. 5 times 8 plus 8 times 1 equals 48. Any other way we can write it? These are all correct so far. Is there another way we can write it? How about that? Do you believe it? What does that remind you of?
PEMDAS?
Kind of. It could. Order of operations is important. How about a property?
The distributive property?
Who said that? Was that Anaka?
Yeah.
I'm trying to guess off people's voices now. So see what it does when you spend time with me in my office hours? We were good. So this is the distributive property because right here, these two are connected. 5 times 8 plus 1 times 8 or 8 times 1. Very nice. So the distributive property. Over here, what would you write? How's that? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So see, it's a little tricky. You probably never thought about that. How about you guys try this one? 7 times 8 is 56. It's probably one of the hardest ones, right, for kids to remember. How could you do it where you're decomposing things? Like, how could you use this array to show this 7 times 8 equals 56? Try it. Okay, what brave soul is going to tell me how to do this?
I can do it.
I'm ready.
So on the side, I split it into 4 boxes in the middle, and then on the side, I put a 5 and a 2.
Okay.
And I did 4 and 4. So then I had
Nice.
20, and then 8 and 8 in the bottom.
Nice. And then your solution is 20 plus 20 plus 8 plus 8, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. Anyone else do it differently?
I did.
What'd you do?
I did 5 and 2 on the side, and then 8 on the top.
Very nice. So do you see how convenient this is for a student? They can break it up in the way that's easiest for them. Did anyone do it even differently than that?
Yeah, I did 7 and then I did 4 and 4.
Nice. Sorry, I can't write up here apparently. 7 and 4 and 4, so you did 28 and 28. Nice. Do you see how many options you have? Whereas probably when you went to school, you didn't have any options, right? It was memorize these facts, right? Kids don't have to memorize all the facts. They probably should, but they don't have to. Look at this one. So 5 times 26. 5 times 26. How could you partition this? How could you draw these lines in different ways to help it? So I'll do my way just so I can show you. So I did 5 here. I left that alone. Maybe I can't write in white right here though. I left my 5 alone. Thank goodness. And then I partitioned this into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I did 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I had 6 left. So I knew this was 10, 10, and 6. So I did 50, 50, and 30. Anybody do it differently? You guys have so many options here. It's amazing.
Could you do 5 and then 13 and 13?
Sure. Yep, so you could split it right in the middle, 13 and 13. I'm just not real good with my 13 times tables, so that wouldn't be my pick, right? I have had students split up the 5 into 2 and 3, or even a 2, 2, and 1. Yeah. I've also had students put these two together and say this is just 20, right? Because they know 5 times 20 is 100, and then just do the 6. So you have a lot of options here. Now, if you go through, geez, oh Pete, the rest of the slideshow, I show examples of different ones, right? Cartesian product, multiplicative comparison, all these things. But then we talk about this modeling, which we just did, how we could do it rectangularly. What do our strategies look like? Look, I discussed the distributive property. Again, that's from that Mathis Tower book. You can use virtual manipulatives. This is what we usually do in class. We build the 14 times 23 on our desks with base 10 blocks, but you can do it virtually. Do you see it? You fill in your area with the blocks that fit, and then they can count it. So it's exactly the same as with paper, but now they're building it with blocks. So if you have kids that are really struggling and they did great with base 10 blocks for addition and subtraction, you can continue that for multiplication. By the way, there's also algebra tiles if you're interested in teaching middle school or gifted students, and they use rectangular multiplication with variables. It's awesome.
I think in one of the homework videos, like little videos you put in there,
yeah,
a guy showed him like filling in a grid with the sorry, I'm blanking. The
no, you're
blocks.
good with the blocks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's what we do in class. If we were face to face, that's what we would do. We would say, I would say, okay, everybody get out your blocks. We would get them out and we would build these. So we just can't do it like this. Okay. So I know I didn't get to everything, but if you need me to make a video on something, just let me know and I can make you a video. We did not get to division this week. We will continue division next week. Okay, so division will be on Monday stuff, but you can see what your homework still is. Don't forget about your post. Start for that term setting. I'm going to put your exit ticket in the chat. I think it's just multiplication, a new way to do multiplication. But multiplication is super fun in these strategies. So, and Shitong pointed out that we had a problem with our not our exit ticket, with our video from the 8th. So I fixed that link too. Okay, so here's your exit ticket in the chat. And what questions do you guys have?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So for the boxes, like the numbers in the middle, you add them together?
Yep.
Okay. That was my only question about that.
And if you relate it to the distributive property, it's very helpful. Is there anybody who's still using that QR code? Because I can do an example too. Is everybody okay with just what's in the chat? Okay, I'm going to take it away then so you can see it. That's not what I meant to do. I'm going to use a whiteboard. I'm going to show you something. Just we can do, give me any 2-digit times 2-digit problem, or 3-digit times 2-digit, I don't care. No one?
12 times 32.
Okay, so let's do 12 times 32. This is another way without a rectangular part to think of this. And this is kind of the long way around. So normally we would say 2 times 2. I'm not going to change that. 2 times 2 is 4, and I'm going to write it right there. But then when I do this part, I'm going to do 2, but no longer is that a 3 because of its location, right? It's actually a 30 because of where it's located. So I'm going to do 2 times 30, which is 60. Then I'm going to do this part, 1 times 2, but it's not a 1, it's a 10. 10 times 2 is 20. And then I'm going to do 10 times 30 is 300. And then I'm going to add all these up. Remember how you were talking about, Natalie, why am I adding them all up? This is exactly what we're doing. 384. This is a long way around. If you were looking at it in a picture, I split this up into 30 and 2, and I split it up into 10 and 2. And the nice thing is I can start anywhere I want. This would be 300, this would be 20, this would be 4, and this would be 60. And you can see all of these numbers are just like all of these numbers. So whether you do it physically or the long way, they're connected, right? They're related. Your traditional algorithm right here, where you do, where you do this, and then you somehow put a placeholder here or a 0 here, and then you go a 2 and a 3. This is a shortcut. That's your traditional way, but now I think you can see where that 320 comes from. It comes from these two, and where the 64 comes from, it comes from here. So whether we do it like this, the long way, okay, which might be considered the expanded algorithm, or a rectangular array or an area model, we're doing the same thing. Does that help explain it a little bit better? Natalie, do you like that? Excellent. All right. Anyone else need another example? All right. Why is it not sharing this screen then? That's stupid. Hold on. There we go. All right. Anyone else need help?
So do you suggest to wait to start the multiplication and division homework since we haven't done division?
No.
Like, try and just have us to do as much of the multiplication or just,
You should do it all. You have a midterm next week regardless.
yeah. And then, okay. So
Yeah, you should do it all. Let me know if you have questions.
yeah, I'm pretty much almost done with that one. And then
Yay.
we have the division strategies video. So we could do that.
Yeah, you can do that. That's just watching a video.
Yes. Okay.
Anything else?
I
Nope.
do have some questions.
I'm ready, Shitan.
Yeah, because I'm just looking the home edition with the base block assignment, and then you put the comment say state the model both aidants. I'm not really sure what it does mean.
Hold on, let me look at it. I don't even know what it means. Hold on, let me look.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Yes, you too. Keep up the hard work, Gabriella. You're doing great.
Thanks.
Okay, while I'm looking up Shitan's, if anybody has a question, you can ask me because I'm just looking up hers in a separate screen. And that was home edition, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, it just takes a while to get there. There it is. All right. Basically, I just showed you, are you talking about the very beginning where it says state the model for both add-ins?
Yes.
So all you're doing is my step one is model both add-ins. So the first add-in was 75, the second add-in was 17. So that would be your step. So when you said you didn't have a first step, you just had your picture, and then the first notice you write is you say take 10 unit boxes out and move it to one long box. But there's a step before that to model the add-ins.
Oh, so
Does that make sense?
Yeah, so it's like I should state like 75 is a seven long box and
you can literally just say first model both add-ins, or you can say first model 75 and 17.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, so just state how you're putting your blocks out there. Everything else looks good.
Okay.
Except for I didn't understand where you wrote take 3 long boxes out and make it a flat box. That didn't make sense to me. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, let me see. You mean the take 10 unite box? That one?
The one after where it says take 10 unit boxes out to be one flat box, that's fine. But then your next one says, then take 3 long boxes out to make it be one flat box.
Oh.
I don't know what that means.
Take those out to make it one flat. Oh, I think it's because I want to, I should let me see. It's talking about the things, you're talking about the bottom row, I think. Because the bottom, I think I should put like take a
I think you just wanted to take 10 more long boxes and make another unit box, right? Yeah, another flat box. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it.
Okay. Okay. I think I'm good. Thank you.
Oh, good. Yeah, no worries. All right. What do we got? I have Amy, I have Carrie, I have Brittany. I got lots more people.
So I had
Andrea.
2 questions.
I'm ready.
Okay, so one of them is for the midterm. So are we gonna have to know like I know you mentioned that we have to know the parts for like division and multiplication.
And addition and subtraction.
So we do have to know like the how do you say it? Minuend, subtrahend and difference. Yes. So we'll have to know all those
and you
terms.
need to know. Yep, and spelling is counted.
Okay. And then for the subtraction, the home problem, so you do want us to go ahead, so you don't want us to put like we put, for example, like 200s in the hundreds place. You just want us to put like model, the minuend, that sort of thing.
It's fine. It's whatever is easier for you. I
Okay.
just think it's easier for me to just say model the minuend.
Okay. Alrighty. Sounds good. Thank you, Ms. Roxanne.
Yeah, make sure you look at the review sheet for the midterm, because there was a review sheet too, right?
Yeah, I kind of peeked at it, but I just wanted to double check.
Yeah, no, good. I just wanted to make sure you had gotten it.
Of course. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, Natalie, who else do I have? Natalie, Andrea, Brittany, what else we got?
I don't have, it's not really much of a math question. I was just trying to fill you in with like what's going on.
Yeah, how are you feeling?
Well, I've been taking pen medication and the swelling has gone down. I still can't really, I'm able to open my mouth more and talk. It's just, I can't really bite down since my gums are so swollen that it's covering wisdom teeth. So if I bite down on it, I hurt my teeth.
Did you have the surgery?
I went yesterday for the appointment and we had like insurance problems. So I actually went this morning somewhere else and I scheduled the appointment for, well, I would have done it right away if it were Friday, but since the surgeon only comes in twice a month, he's available for next week on Thursday.
Oh gosh, Andrea, I'm so sorry you're in so much pain. That's awful.
Yeah.
Thank you for updating me. And are you updating your other teachers as well?
I need to update my other teacher because I do have another class Thursday, so.
Yeah, make sure you do that and let me know how you're feeling, and just keep working hard. I know you got other assignments and it's very stressful. It doesn't help when you're not feeling good.
Yeah, I had scheduled yesterday my oral exam for Thursday at, forget what time it was, but